just picking up from where we left off after exercise 1, let's start with exercise 2. Now we have Rocky. He's going to consolidate all his credit cards into one loan payment. So he's going to borrow $2,500 at 6.3% interest compounded monthly. So let's put in the information that we know. We know that Rocky is going to borrow $2,500. And we know he is getting an interest rate of 6.3%. What we don't know at this point, it's still going to be 12. What we don't know at this time is how much he needs to pay per month. I'm just going to leave it at the $350. That's just left over from the last one, but we're going to need to change that soon. Now, if you notice down in our spreadsheet, our numbers have changed. Our balance is now starting at $2,500. And actually, if he was paying $350 a month, his loan would be paid off in 8 months. Now, what we want to know is how much Rocky will have to pay to have his loan paid off in a year. And we're going to try to get it to the nearest dollar. So the cell that we're interested in is this one right here. And I do kind of like to highlight the one that I'm interested in just so that I know exactly where I'm looking. Now, oops, sorry, I did the wrong one. I wanted it at a year. Okay, that's the cell that gives the end balance after a year. So I'm just going to highlight that one yellow. Now, I want this cell to be the first red one or the first negative, and I want it as low as possible. And we're going to try to get his payment as close as we can to the nearest penny, if we can. See if we can do that. Actually, it's to the nearest dollar is the question. Penny's fun, but a dollar is close enough. Okay, so he doesn't have to pay this much, because if he was paying $350, he would have it paid off in 7 months. So let's start with a little bit lower. Let's start with $200. Okay, so if he was paying $200 a month, he wouldn't quite have it paid off. He would still have $191 to pay off. So it's not quite enough. So we need to be paying a little bit more. Let's just try $220. I'm just taking a little educated guess here. Now, he will have it paid off in 12 months with $220. And he's got $55 that the bank will then owe him. So let's try to get that number just a little bit lower. So we can pay off just a little bit less. So I'm going to start with 18. 18 is now 30. I want that number to try to be a little bit smaller. Let's go down to 15. Oh, too small. So I went from 18 to 15 and I made too big a jump. Let's go back up to 16. Yeah, that's a nice small number. So that's really close. We want that number to be as close to 0 as possible. Just for the fun of it, if you want, see if you can go to the nearest penny and get that as close to 0 as possible. And you can do that. For the next part, we're going to say that Rocky's actually been told or has negotiated that he is going to pay $175 a month. And now I want to know when at least half of his loan will be paid off. So that means that the amount remaining at the end has to be less than half of $2,500, which would be $1,250. So with our new numbers in there, with our 175 in there, we look for the first payment that's below $1,250. And if you can see, that would be in month 8. For C, if he's paying $100 a month, we want to know when the loan will be completely paid off. And if we go down, this is when we first are not owing any money, so it would be paid off in month 27. Our last part would be how much interest does he pay altogether if he pays $175 a month. I'm going to go back to the 175. He will have the loan paid off in 15 years. So what we need to do is we need to add up the interest paid in all the years up to 15. And all we need to do is just go into an empty cell that's close by. And we want to add up those payments. And we use that by using the sum. And we want all the values from here I'm going to start at the top here. From here, all those positive values. And if we add those up, it's not 81 cents. What am I doing? Okay, since we're having trouble with that, I'll just show you the other way of doing that. We want to start in cell D10. So I'm going to put D10. We can see that I have now got all the cells highlighted that I want to add. And we would be paying $105.58. When we do the same thing for $100 a month, he's going to be paying interest up to this amount, up to the 45 cents. So again, I'm going to try this again. I want the values from here all the way up to here. And you can see that we would be paying a little bit more in interest this time, $187.06.